Hi guys, Emily Gallagher here and welcome to Conscious Boss TV and Conscious Boss Radio. I am super excited to be here today. To be here today with a very special guest, Mr. Lewis Howes, up in the School of Greatness studio office where all the magic happens. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah,
and thank you for being here.
Yeah.
So today we are going to be deep diving on a raft of topics and conversations, and I've had full permission from Lewis to ask whatever I want. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm going to warn you. So I'm really excited for you guys to be here today. If you have not heard of Lewis, then you've either been living under a rock or you don't have the internet, I think. So you're very good at getting your brand and your business out there. He's a man making massive impact in the world of personal development, business, branding, relationships. The thing that I really love about you, Lewis, is you're very holistic. I think you really, it sums it up, School of Greatness. And that's really an embodiment of all areas of our life. And I love that you really hit on that, health, wellness, relationships, business, you really do it all. And I really appreciate you for that. So we're going to touch on lots of different things today. But so Lewis is a New York Times bestselling author. He is the host of one of the world's highest rating, highest downloaded podcasts, The School of Greatness. So I'm stoked to be here in where it all happens today with you. But just an all-around good guy, really advocating for just all of us creating greatness in our life. You have a really powerful story, which I will, I think key notes are really, living on your sister's couch for a couple of years, broke down and out, essentially, being injured and having your NFL dream shattered and having your essentially identity kind of taken away. Those are two that really stand out for me because I think it makes what you've created so amazing. So I'm super excited to share him with you guys today. So Lewis has a new book coming out, or it's come out whenever you're reading or listening to this interview, and it is called The Mask of Masculinity. Yes. I'm going to go right in there because I don't know if it's strangely, but I'm really obsessed with this conversation, which is kind of odd because I work with women primarily, and I'm obviously a woman, but I'm really interested in this conversation. And I know when we met, I mentioned to you how excited I am that you're really stepping up in a big way to share this conversation. So I would like to ask you why this book and why now? What is driving you to bring this message out?
Why the book? First, it was for my own personal journey.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I needed to learn so many things that I hadn't mastered yet as a man and as a human being.
Yeah.
I really see this as a human being challenge, not just men, women thing, but more about how all humans can become better versions of themselves.
Yeah.
And relationships are the most powerful things in the world. Without relationships, we can't achieve our dreams. And I'm a big believer in dreams.
Pause you there for a second. Take note, right? Relationships are the most important thing because I love that. I know you're a big believer in that.
Well, I would say health first.
Okay, great. Yes.
Health is actually the most important thing because if you don't have your health, then you're not going to be able to create powerful relationships.
100%.
But the key to success in life is relationships, and the key to successful relationships is the thing that some men lack, which is vulnerability.
Yes.
And I don't want to generalize men or women here because it all depends where you grew up and your culture and everything.
Yeah.
But where I grew up, from my perspective, men weren't able to open up and express themselves like the women in our lives.
Yeah.
From my perspective.
Yeah.
And what I noticed was there was a lot of pain and suffering for myself because I didn't know how to express the different challenges I was facing internally.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to let it go. I didn't know how to communicate certain things. I didn't feel comfortable to share. And I think that's something in general that women do really well is they share their challenges with each other. And it's like you're able to release these things from your body or your mentality, your emotions. And in general, I don't see men open to sharing their challenges or struggles as much.
Yeah.
It's more like we have to have it all put together.
Yeah.
We have to be strong, make sure we can take on any of the stresses or pressures. At least that's what we create in general.
Yeah.
So I realized a lot of things weren't working for me. How I was handling certain situations, how I was responding to people,
Can you give us any examples?
I mean, let's just say sports in general.
Yeah.
If someone would talk trash to me in a a game with zero stakes.
Yeah.
It was like it's like
attacking me.
I felt like it was, you know, an attack on
Yeah.
my manhood or something.
Yeah, right.
Or my personality or my whatever.
Yeah.
And I wasn't able to fully just like laugh or smile and be like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like I had to defend myself.
Yeah.
And I had to defend it through words,
Yeah.
through energy, and then through force.
Yeah.
And it would leave me feeling very unhappy when I would do that and upset at myself. Like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why am I constantly aggressive towards other human
Yeah.
beings when I feel like they're attacking me
Yeah.
for whatever reason?
Yeah.
So it was a journey of like, I turned 30, I'd gone through a pretty bad breakup. I'd sold a company. I was getting in more and more fights. I was just kind of frustrated in
Yeah.
general, and I was like, why? So it started with a question of why am I acting this way?
Yeah.
Where does this stem from? And then I started to do some work on myself and realized there was just a lot of past trauma and pain that I hadn't
Yeah.
really talked about with anyone. And as I started to open up and talk about it, it was like, wow, this sense of relief, this sense of comfort, this sense
Yeah.
of, oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
And I don't need to get upset about it.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of men in general aren't opening up about things, whether it be with a guy friend or girlfriend or coach or therapist, whatever. They're not willing to share. And I think the only way we can truly heal is when we start to share.
Yeah. That's beautiful. And I think that, I'd love to know whether there was, because you mentioned obviously just starting to ask why and why you're feeling so aggressive and angry and attacked. Was there kind of a moment that you kind of felt, okay, this is enough?
Yeah,
And what was
I got in a really bad fight.
I broke my nose and I was like, no.
No, I mean, I broke someone else's face, actually.
Okay.
And remember, it was at the basketball courts just down the street.
Yeah.
Again, a no-stakes game in the mean streets of West Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I got in a really bad fight
Yeah.
where a guy had to go to the hospital. And I remember coming back here, looking in the mirror in the other room and just like shaking, like, what is wrong with me? Like, why do I allow things to escalate? And I was like, that is not the type of human being that I want to be.
Yeah.
Not only even man, but just human
Yeah,
being.
for sure. Yeah.
So I was like, why am I being so reactive and aggressive? This was 4 or 5 years ago. And that's when I really started to just evaluate my life into all terms of what is working for me and what is not working for me in terms of my joy, fulfillment, and impact in the world.
Yeah.
Because certain things were working for me.
Yeah.
My competitive nature was working for me. My aggressiveness in certain areas was working for me.
Yeah.
My ability to, just work relentlessly did work for me. But I was like, okay, what are the things that aren't working for me? What's hurting myself in other relationships?
Yeah.
What's hurting my vision, my family, my friends? And it was first being aware. Okay, here's what's working, here's what's not working. It's not good or bad, right or wrong, just like, how can I improve?
Awareness, yeah.
And that was the first step for me. It was like being fully aware, owning all the things I'd done in the past, and forgiving myself for it so that I could move forward.
Yeah. Beautiful. And I want to kind of also just mention, we're talking about masculinity here, and we're talking about you obviously being a man, and you sort of alluded to it as well, but this conversation is for everyone in the sense, like, we all have the masculine, we all have the feminine, and it's kind of that integration. And the vulnerability side of it is obviously more of the feminine side, so it's kind of the integrating but I think, with the masculinity, this conversation is like that's not masculine, or it's not manly to have that. So, anyone who's listening, I just want them to be clear that this is a conversation for men and for women, because we both have, both, and all of this applies. I'd love to know, what was it that you did after having that awareness, because you said you did a lot of work on yourself, because, these spaces for men to talk, to be connected, to even share that they want to, like, that they have things that are wrong, or they're not having it all together, right?
Well, again, it's not wrong. It's what is working to support you in your vision and your dreams, and what's not working.
Yeah.
So I think the challenge, men don't want to feel wrong about who they are.
Yeah.
I never want to feel like I'm a bad or wrong person.
Yeah.
And so it's, again, letting go of everything that's in the past and saying, okay, did that work for me?
Yeah.
For my vision and my dreams and in my relationship, did that work? No, it didn't work.
Yeah.
Don't beat myself up on it.
Yeah.
Move on, create a new vision of what it will work.
Yeah.
And let me figure out the tools that will support me in making these experiences work better.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
No, amazing. So what were some of those tools? Because, not a lot of people out there necessarily have as much exposure. I mean, we're in the personal development world. We have a lot of connections with kind of where to go. What were some of those steps that you took?
The first is sharing. For me, this is what works. Sharing with someone or someone's all the things that I was ashamed of. Because
which is scary enough in itself.
All the things I felt guilty about or ashamed of or insecure about that I didn't want people to know.
Yeah.
Because I needed to own those things as opposed to them owning me first. And as long as if I felt like I couldn't share something, then it's holding me back.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I need to let go of these things and be fully comfortable with anything that's happened in my life. Even if it's uncomfortable and, you know, even if I don't agree with it or if it was very painful or intimate, let me at least own it so it's not like I'm not shaking when I think of the idea. Because then I lose my power to something in the past as opposed to owning it. So first it was like being aware and owning it. And the second thing was sharing it.
Yeah.
Because once I shared it, I was able to
release its power.
It. Yeah, it lost its power. I was able to release it. I mean, it took a while. I had to share it over and over for a while for me to feel like, okay, I can talk about these things. But then it was like this sense of relief. Like, okay, people see me and they get me, even in my darkest stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to lose friendships. Right? That's our biggest fear, isn't it? Acceptance.
Yeah.
So once I realized, like, oh, people still like me. Okay. I'm all right. You know?
I'm good. Didn't die. Okay, didn't die.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was able to move forward. The next thing for me was really just living in a space of gratitude consistently because it's really hard to be angry, frustrated, resentful when you live in a grateful mindset.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, anytime I feel upset or frustrated, like how can I be grateful for the situation?
Yeah.
And just shift the perspective.
Yeah.
So that really allowed me to shift out of things much faster.
Yeah.
And then I think for me, what works is having a routine in the mornings to set me up and ground me and be prepared for any challenge that comes my way.
Yeah.
I think most of the time, a lot of people get up and just go through the motions and react, as opposed to set a clear time for yourself to fill your needs up, to fill your body, your mind, and soul up, and get what you need inside, and then focus on, okay, here's my vision for the next 16 hours.
Yeah.
And if this happens or something doesn't work out, how am I going to respond? So preparing yourself for things going right and things not going the way you want them to.
Yeah.
And what will the reaction be like?
Yeah.
So I try to prepare myself for that, as opposed to just waking up, going through the motions, and then, oh, that didn't do what I wanted it to. Oh, that messed up. And then just reacting and being stressed. Because that's not going to serve my vision. So that's what I think is the process. First, be aware, share, live in gratitude, and then create a morning ritual routine that grounds you for the intentions you want to create for that day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful. And there's a few things that you said there that I think are really key, because I'm big on like the non-negotiable routine, right? There's those couple of key things, and also keeping it super simple. Like, I think as well, a lot of the times this kind of conversation can be simplistic in the sense of it's not, okay, all of these crazy actions that we have to do, right? It's like these key things. And when sometimes I find people looking for this new way to do something, and it's like, you know, repetition of some other. Keep it simple and be in action with that. So what are some of your key morning, and you also spoke about there in terms of vision, and I liked how you said my vision for the day, because I think we can have a vision and then still wake up and kind of be robotic in terms of what we're doing, where it's like, hey, what's my ultimate vision for this day? Which is, because it's just a series of days, right? I really like that. I think that's really powerful. So what are some of your non-negotiable routines for grounding? And
I mean, the body, in my opinion, is the most important thing. The mind and the body work together.
For sure.
But it's hard to build mental toughness if the body is weak.
Yeah.
If the body is lazy, sloppy, you're feeding yourself crap, it's hard to have mental strength throughout the day. So I like to set myself up to win and train in the mornings, because then I feel like I accomplished something. I know that I put my body through the pain that is necessary to take on any emotional stress or trauma throughout the day. That's just what works for me.
Yeah.
I truly believe you must move the body if you're able to. Some people aren't able to, but doing whatever you can, if it's finger exercises, whatever it can,
get some energy moving. To
move the body and strengthen it by putting yourself through pain every single day. If you don't put yourself through pain every single day, you're not going to have a pain threshold when stress and overwhelm comes your way. If you have a big dream, there's going to be a lot of challenges and failures that are necessary in order to make that dream happen. So I have that kind of athlete mentality where I focus on the body, and while I'm focusing on the body, I'm training the mind. So this morning, I was going through reps of different things, and I pushed myself in certain areas to failure. And then when it's like the toughest, that's when I focus on the mind. Not when it's easy, the first few reps, but when it's like the last reps, and my trainer says, okay, 10 more. When I'm like, I can't do one more. So what am I going to start building in my mindset? So for me, that's what works. Is training the body on a consistent daily basis. Now with rest and recovery, obviously, then I like to meditate. And
how long
10
do you
to 15
for?
minutes, it just depends on the morning, at least 10 minutes, but usually up to 15. And this is where I really train the mind to go places that I don't even think is possible of going.
So it's like a meditation visualization kind of combo, or?
I do things a little different, I think, than most people do, where I constantly try to take myself farther and farther away from planet Earth.
Okay.
Now, this may sound a little weird.
No, it's good. I've got a woo-woo crowd. It's all good. You can go there.
So I see myself, and then I see myself literally rising up into the clouds, and then I see myself going as fast as I can into touching and moving planets.
Cool.
With my hands.
The Superman situation going?
Superman situation. And I continue to break through light years and light years to expand myself until I can't see the Earth anymore from my perspective. And then I try to go as far away as I can from the Earth. And it's like complete silence. And I'm moving other planets with my hands. And what this does for me is it just puts a different perspective to see how small I actually am, and this Earth actually is. But how big and expansive my mindset can be the farther I push it. In the universe, but also in the small world. And in my inner world. So it's all about expanding my inner world so that I can create an abundance. When I come back to a challenge, I'm like, oh, this is actually a little tiny little challenge as opposed to this big momentous challenge. Because I can actually move planets in my mind.
I'm Superman, so I'm good. I got this.
I mean, it may sound a little weird or egotistical, but it's like I want to be able to take my mind to the farthest depths of what is possible. Even if it's in my own inner world. So the outer world seems easier. But that's how I train the mind.
No, I love that. And I think that you said it there a few times just around the importance of the inner world, because it's all... that's where everything happens. It's like it's all mindset, you know, and it's further along that I get on this journey is just realizing how much everything is a mindset, you know, like it's never resources, always resourcefulness, all of that. And I think the fact that you came from where you were on, you know, your injury with being an athlete, being on your sister's couch, like those are the kinds of situations that I come across often where people will stay stuck in that mindset of like, well, this is my situation, you know? So I'd love to actually go back a little bit as well. Like what got you off your sister's couch? Because a lot of people are listening and it's like, okay, you know, that's great now and you've got this and you've got all of that, but you know, you created that. So what was kind of some pivots that got you from that point?
You know, my dad had just gone through a really bad car accident where he was in a coma for 3 months.
Wow.
It was actually in New Zealand.
Oh,
You're
wow.
from New Zealand or Australia?
Yeah, New Zealand.
Yeah, it was actually in Christchurch. This was 12 years ago. He was on a vacation, it was 13 years ago, 12, 13 years ago. He was on a vacation with his girlfriend at the time, and he was driving late night around like a curvy mountain or something in New Zealand. And I guess there was no like street lamps or lights, and it's on the other side of the road there.
Yeah.
You're driving the other side of the road, which was the right side, I guess, or left
We're on
side?
the left.
Yeah, left side. And I guess he was trying to cheat in the middle. This is what his girlfriend says, because he doesn't remember. He was trying to cheat in the middle of to go around the curves, and there was a car that came, and he kind of froze, and because usually you would turn to the right in the U.S. But I guess you turn left there, so he kind of just froze, and an SUV came up on the car, came through the windshield, the bumper hit him in his head.
Oh, wow.
So they had to helicopter him to Christchurch Hospital. He was on life support for 3 months.
Wow.
And so this all happened right before I went to play professional football.
Okay.
And then when I got done playing professional football, I didn't have my dad as a backup. He woke up and he's never been the same. I can't really have an emotional relationship with him.
Right.
He forgets a lot. He doesn't really, he's like almost like a completely different person.
Wow.
He hasn't fully
That's
healed.
challenging, yeah.
So it's kind of like I lost my dad that day, even though he's still physically here. And so when I was done on my sister's couch, I didn't have a backup plan. Like, he was kind of my backup plan.
Right.
He was like, come work with me when you're done.
Okay.
Like, go live your dream, and then like.
You're good if in case.
Yeah, like I'll, I'll financially back this and blah, blah, blah. So I never really had to be resourceful because I had this in my mind, like, I'm good. And so when I didn't have my dad, I didn't have my dream, it was kind of like, is this all my life is going to be?
Yeah.
Is this what I was supposed to do? Just like be 23, 24 and
couch.
be done?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like my dream's over, now what?
Yeah.
And I remember just kind of thinking like, there's got to be more for my life. There's got to be more available for me.
Yeah.
And I know this isn't supposed to be like it. This isn't supposed to be like my glory day and it's over.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. It's just like a drive inside of me that just wanted to be more, create more, and give more. And it was kind of just like this feeling.
Yeah.
It's just like I needed to do something.
Totally.
And I would not be here without that actually experience happening to my dad, because I don't think I would have had that same drive to make something, to be something myself. But so I kind of feel like it all happened for a reason.
Yeah, and I think that's a really big thing, because it's, I think there's a saying, and it might have even been Tony Robbins who said it, where it's like, on a good day and a bad day, you don't actually know when the event happens, which one it is, because that the worst thing that ever happens to you could be, you look back and it was the thing that created, everything you're creating now, and vice versa. And I want to bring it back to, our original conversation around masculinity and vulnerability. Like, what's one of the biggest things that you learned, or something that maybe surprised you? Because I know you've done a lot of research for this book and had lots of conversations. So what was one of the things that maybe surprised you that through the process of putting this book together?
That I don't have all the answers.
Right? That was surprising? You went into it thinking...
Well, I think I used to have a pretty big ego.
Right.
And it's still there. I'm always working on it. But I think I used to think I knew a lot.
Yeah.
And I think I had it all figured out. I was successful in sports and making money and figuring things out. So I was like, oh, I got the answers.
Yeah.
When I realized, like, wow, this is just, I just know nothing. I'm just constantly trying to become better. In every stage of my life, there's new lessons and new things to discover. But also what opened up for me is my former niece, now they are gender nonconforming.
Okay.
I learned about a whole new experience of not, men, women, and then human beings that are not considered, they don't consider themselves a gender. Yeah. Or they're gender fluid, or they're, there's... Yeah. So this whole new experience opened up for me where I was like, okay, I'm ignorant to this. Yeah. Because I just wasn't raised with this.
It's a new concept too.
Yeah. And so being aware and mindful that this isn't a man or woman thing, this is a human being experience. Yeah. And how can we be powerful, passionate, vulnerable, open human beings? There are certain tendencies of men and certain tendencies of women. Yeah. I'm not trying to, and to not generalize this because people, I don't want to generalize anything. Yeah. And I think I started out doing that. So just being very mindful of the conversation. Yeah. And just the flack I'm getting in general for just having a conversation about it.
Really? So what kind of flack are you
Even being like
getting?
so politically correct.
Wow, for sure.
How we're talking now, I'm just like, not everyone, not this,
Disclaimer.
But I just think it's a very emotionally charged conversation for people based on their own personal experiences of what they've gone through. Yeah. And also being like a tall, white, jock, American man. That essentially represents every heartbreak a woman has gone through from high school. Right? Like the jock athlete dude that they dated who like broke their heart. Sure. Like I represent that. Sure. Or the father that was guarded and angry. Or the brother that was stoic and had no emotion. Sure. Like I represent so many things to so many women. Yeah. That they just kind of unleash this like judgment or energy or well, this is who you are because I went through an experience of someone that looks like you type of thing. So I've had to kind of like take on the emotional burden of a lot of these women to allow them to heal and just kind of let it go through me as opposed to let it just like weigh on me.
This is really interesting. I'd like to dig into this a little bit because this is part of the conversation that I'm really interested in, because I think that females, which is why I'm sitting here talking to you, and females have a big part to play in, and we're not calling this a men's conversation because it's not necessarily, as we said. However, I think that there has been a really big divide, with the big feminism movement, and obviously I think that there is a lot of connotations that come with either side of this conversation, but I think there has been a huge divide from men versus women. There's an energy, an underlying energy of that there. And so I think that what you just said is really powerful. I've kind of got chills actually, because we as women have our own responsibility if we want something different to not behave in that way and to not throw that baggage on you or any other man.
And here's the thing, from my own personal experience, and I believe in a lot of men's, I guess, energy is, women are so powerful, they have no clue how powerful it is. Our like makeup as men, and the men that I know, it's like, why do we do a lot of things growing up? It's to have girls like us.
Yeah.
And when a girl or a woman is not happy with us, we want to shift things to make them happy. It's always trying to please and make them happy. It's just, in a lot of, in general, it's in a lot of men's, nature to make a woman happy and not be upset at them constantly. Yeah. Right? Because like, who wants that burden of like a woman just being upset at them? They want them to just be happy.
Yeah.
So when it's like, they're always, when a man is always wrong for what they do or don't do, to say or don't say, and they're just like, okay, I'm not going to say anything anymore.
Yes.
Nothing I do makes you happy.
Yes. Wow.
Like, it's hard. We start to build these masks. Now, it's our responsibility to not do this.
Sure.
But we are influenced through trying to please the women in our lives to make them happy, specifically intimate relationships.
Yeah.
And so when we're constantly wrong,
Yeah.
or made bad,
Yeah.
or someone's not happy with us, it's hard to have the mental courage and strength to be like, well, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Like,
And
this
you're
is your
driven to
thing. I'm here to
please,
support you, but I'm not going to just change everything to make you happy all the time. Because I've tried that for years and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that.
Yeah.
Yes, it's our responsibility. Yes, I get it.
Yeah.
It's just challenging.
Yeah. That's
And so-
awareness, right, for both of us.
Yeah, awareness for both.
Yeah.
And so I think women get to take off their mask.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
This is not just like, there's a lot of masks of femininity.
Right?
It's like,
Maybe that'll be my book.
yeah, exactly. And so that's why I say it's a human
Of course.
challenge.
Yeah.
Not a women versus men thing.
It's not.
But if we want to build more powerful relationships between men and men, men and women,
Yeah.
gender nonconforming with the rest of the world, we must remove the walls that are holding us back and that are protecting us from people seeing who we truly are,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
So when I started to release these things that I was ashamed of, afraid of, insecure about, and just started to speak into them with people, it created the most powerful bonds possible.
Yeah.
Like the things I learned about other humans when I opened up, I was like, wow, I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
And so we had a deeper connection, and deeper trust,
Yeah.
deeper intimacy, and that created a more harmonious relationship.
Yeah.
So if we can continue to do that as men, women, human beings, I feel like it's going to serve us in a powerful way to move closer to our dreams. And this whole conflict of race and all these wars and fights coming out, just like they blow my mind.
Yeah.
But it's all based on like the mask we're wearing.
Yeah.
Our fear of losing our identity or fear of losing our country or whatever it is. It's just like these masks.
Separation, yeah.
That if we were just open and shared more and healed ourselves first,
Yeah.
we wouldn't need to fight as much.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's what I'm trying to create. Just more awareness for people of why we wear specific types of masks.
Yeah.
Where it stems from, what's the root of it, and how can we as men remove the mask
Yeah.
without feeling so vulnerable and
Yeah.
unsafe? How can we do it in a safe way where we feel comfortable? And how can women understand each mask that the man in their life is wearing? An intimate boyfriend, husband, father, brother, uncle. How can you be aware, oh, this is the exact mask this man is wearing? And now here are the tools on how to get them to take it off without making them wrong. Because no one wants to be made wrong for who they are.
Yeah.
And if we're wearing a mask and you're like, don't do that anymore, that's
Yeah.
bad, you're
Yeah.
being wrong, the guy's got to hold it on even stronger.
Yeah.
say F you, like
Yeah.
don't tell me what to do.
Wall. Yeah.
Walls. And so if you can learn the process of understanding the mask and how to get them to remove it from a loving place,
Yeah.
which usually means acknowledging for the good,
Yeah.
acknowledging how amazing of a man that they are,
Yeah.
even when you're so upset with them.
Yeah.
You know,
I've heard
it's
that
hard,
before.
women,
Yeah.
to be, I get this. You know, if my girlfriend does something that's upsetting me, and I'm just like, you know, whatever, I'm frustrated, it's hard to be like, you're so amazing. You know what I mean? It's hard to do that, but I think there's an approach that will serve the relationship.
Yeah. There's so many segues I want to take there. So I'm going to start with one. So what is something then, and you know, alluding to it, but what are some of the ways that women can support, and we've, you know, it's been a part of this conversation, but how can we practically support, because I always say something, you know, the person with the highest consciousness has the highest responsibility, right? So it's like if you have the awareness and you have more of the tools and can see and have the awareness, right, that there's masks, you know, you have more of the responsibility to do a bit more of the ego swallowing and help that person kind of rise, right? Man, woman, whoever.
I think that's in my opinion, that's the ultimate man.
Yeah.
The man who's fully aware and who can be in service in any situation.
Yeah.
Who can be calm under stress and learn to, you know, to like just break up a fight as opposed to like join it.
Yeah.
And can be like, all right, let's communicate this from a loving place.
Yeah.
It's like the ultimate alpha is the one who doesn't fight, but who can be emotionally aware and just be like, no, just move back for a second. You move back for a second. Let's take a breath.
Yeah.
Let's talk this out.
Yeah.
As opposed to like beating the chest alpha.
And from a female's point of view, all you guys out there, it's way sexier as well. Like, you know, like, I mean, I think for the conscious woman of us or for the, like, it's, again, it's that consciousness piece, because we can see that that takes work and that takes strength and courage. Yeah, right.
And listen, I don't want to say, you know, I'm constantly training my body.
Yeah.
For any attack that comes my way.
Yeah, but you're a big dude, so I mean, you can take it. But
I'm constantly training. If I need to, I can, you know, take on any fight feeling confident.
Yeah.
Hand to hand.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to be in a fight though.
It's about having the tools in the toolkit, right?
Having the tools. That, you know, there's people that are crazy that are going to come at me that I'm going to need to protect myself.
Yeah.
You
live in LA.
Like, just like let's love each other. It's not, you know, it's not always going to be that way, but it's understanding the situation and being able to use all the tools necessary. Defense, attacking, calm, whatever it may be. Running away, like whatever it is.
Whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
So what is something that you would, what do you wish that more women knew about men then? That we need to give more validation?
That are some men who wear masks are experiencing extreme pain and trauma, and they're unwilling to share it.
Yeah.
And they may not even be aware of it.
Yeah.
And don't try to force them to share.
Yeah.
Don't try to force them to be like, tell me what happened when you were 6.
Yeah, okay.
Like, they may not be ready for
that. So how do we go about that?
It's continuing to let them know that you are a safe person in their life.
Yeah.
And that anything you ever want to share in a loving, vulnerable way, or anything that ever you're afraid of or that's just hurt you in the past, that you're always there to listen with zero judgment. And you're going to love them no matter what they've done or what they've said, which is hard.
Yeah.
And just letting them know. Not trying to constantly push them to share, just letting them know, like, I'm here for you, I've got your back.
Yeah.
I think just creating a safe space is the first step. And acknowledging for the things you love about them when you can. That's the first kind of step.
Yeah, no, I love that. Do you think that there has been some confusion or some blurred lines now with the dynamics between masculinity and femininity, right? I think that there's been, with the, you know, the rise of the girl boss and like business and entrepreneurship and you know, the changing of the tide a little bit. Do you think that there's now, you know, the females are more masculine than before?
Yeah, it's funny. There was this woman that I spoke about this at an event last weekend. A woman was like sharing that it's really hard for her to keep a guy. She's like, I get all these guys, they're amazing, and they always want to help and support me, but then I just kind of push them away because I want to be the independent woman that can do everything on my own. Yeah. And I'm like, how is that working for you?
Yeah.
You know, how does it feel to not be able to keep a relationship? And she's like, I attract all these amazing men, but it's just like, I push them away.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you don't want a relationship, then keep being that way. You know, not right or wrong, but just like, what is your vision?
Yeah.
And if it's not working for you, you get to shift into a new vision. Doesn't mean you can't be this powerful woman who's like independent and taking command of her business.
Yeah.
But if you want to have a great relationship too, then you got to let go of certain things.
Yeah.
And you got to release certain things and allow for someone else to be a support. Just like a man gets to do in a relationship as well. You know, there's a give and take in any relationship. So I think it's just figuring out what is the vision for the relationship you want to have in your life.
Yeah.
What works, what doesn't work.
Yeah.
What do you need to let go of?
Yeah.
What do you need to step into? To still have your dream as a powerful female entrepreneur or whatever that you want to be, and a great relationship.
Yeah.
Because you can have it all.
Yeah. I'm asking for a friend, obviously.
Yeah,
No, it was actually really, in full disclosure, it's interesting, at this retreat I was at on the weekend, there was a love coach there, and she like redid my like online profile. I don't really use it because I'm traveling, but it was just so interesting. She's like, geez, don't say that, don't have that. There was like quite masculine, you know, the approach that I put out there.
Yeah.
It's just interesting.
You got to be ready for it.
Yeah.
You got to want it.
Yeah.
And if you got to want it, then
You'll be
you
willing
got to ask.
to do things.
Well, you got to be like, okay, what's this going to work? You
Yeah.
know? And here's the thing: there's a lot of conflict with men because women will say certain things. I want a man who's like this, this, and this, and then I want them to be open or loving or vulnerable. But then like, oh, they're too weak or they're too soft or this and that. So you're creating walls in men. Be like, all right, I'm not going to be vulnerable then.
Yeah.
You say you want it, but then you act a different way when I give it to you.
Yeah.
And you get disgusted with me in those moments. So what do you want?
Yeah.
You get to get clear. And so women, again, men get to be responsible for everything.
Of course.
But women also say, well, I want a vulnerable man who's sensitive, and I want this masculine, physical man at the same time.
Yeah.
You're looking for unicorns. You know what I mean? It's like, yes, you can have it all.
Yeah.
But you get to love them when they're sensitive and soft, and love them when they're strong, and not make them wrong for one way or another of who they are.
Yeah.
So you get to be clear of exactly what you want, and be okay with who they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if there's something about them you don't like, then there's probably something about yourself that they don't like either.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
totally.
You're not like this perfect
You're not also a
being.
unicorn as well, right? Yeah.
I mean, I feel like as much as I like to learn and grow and evolve, if you ask my girlfriend, there's a lot of deficiencies about me as a man.
For sure,
right?
of course.
Like, there's a
We're
lot of
human at
things-
the end of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I like to think like I'm a good guy and like
Yeah.
a catch or whatever, like I know I've got my faults
Yeah.
constantly.
Okay, so let's dig into that a little bit since we're talking about vulnerability. What are some of the things that maybe you had to shed, or some of the places within you that you still feel are the, you know, like the thing you have to work on? Like, you know, I think a lot of us have that thing. We wake up and we have that. Okay, this is where I still have work to do.
I mean, everywhere. I mean, I don't
Let
know
me
where
get
to
my
start.
list.
I don't know where to start. I mean,
So what were some of the initial masks then that you had to shed that felt so scary when you were keeping them all to yourself at those kind of initial stages? Like, because it's probably the same. I mean, there's only so many things.
I think originally was letting everyone see me for who I am and everything I've been through in my life.
Yeah.
Where I didn't feel comfortable sharing things of the past.
Yeah.
And I don't think everyone needs to do this. For me, I just knew it was holding me back.
Sure.
So it was first like sharing all the things for me that allowed me to like come clean and not feel shameful anymore.
Yeah.
Or guilty or bad. And I could kind of move forward in a new vision. So that really helped me just be more calm and loving in general. You know, I think every relationship has its challenges and it brings up different things, each relationship. So, you know, in respect for my girlfriend, I don't want to bring up too much stuff.
Sure,
because I
sure,
wanna
of
honor
course.
her,
Yeah,
but
of
it's
course.
just like, I'm always working on myself.
Yeah.
And every 2 years or a year, it's like, oh, there's some new thing or this, you know,
Yeah.
new challenge. So
Right.
it's like, I think it's going to constantly be there.
Yeah.
Challenges.
Yeah. And I think it's like you sort of said earlier, and I was actually on my walk this morning listening to one of your podcasts around, you know, I'm not perfect. And the more, it's like anything in business and relationships and health, wherever it is, whenever you get to that next level, you realize how you're at the bottom, right? It's like this rabbit hole that you never get.
Like a new beginning, you know?
Yeah.
New
Really?
discoveries.
Yeah.
And I think if we stay stuck and like I've figured it out, like what's
Yeah.
worked in the past is going to work now, it's just not.
Yeah.
Maybe in some instances.
Yeah.
But there's new levels of obstacles, stress, anxiety with every new opportunity.
Yeah. And I also like what you said there as well around, you know, not everyone has to do this, right? Because everybody's journey is different. And I think, especially in the self-development, personal development, it is a rabbit hole, and you can think you have to heal everything and look at everything and question everything. And I think it's important to say you don't. It's just, whatever feels good.
Yeah, for me, it's like, what is your vision and your dream? For me, everything starts with a dream.
Yeah.
Without a dream, why are we here?
Totally. Yeah.
I mean, just to live.
Yeah.
And react to things. So for me, I think dreams are the most important things. And they can shift and evolve and change every day if you want them to. But without a direction or a place to go towards, we have no journey.
Yeah.
And that's
what
every movie's about. You know, every movie's going on a journey. This is life is a journey. And so it's always like, I like to dream. I like to think about like, what do I want my life to be? What I want, who do I want to be? Who do I want to be around? Who do I want to impact? What do I want to create?
Yeah.
What do I love? And focus on the dream. And then are all the actions that I'm taking every single day, or all the thoughts, or all the responses I'm taking, supporting me in making that dream happen by the time I want it to happen, or are they not? And if they're not, okay, let me learn something new on how to make it happen in a better way.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
No, I love that.
And how can I feel good about myself and joyful and fulfilled and happy along the journey?
Where you are right now too, I think is a big one.
How can I feel happy along the journey? Because if I'm upset and sad all the time, that's not fun either.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, this is just like a game, you know? Life is a game. It's like, who actually knows what's real and what's not real?
Well, it's
how
subjective
it was created,
a lot of it,
how it wasn't created, like where we're supposed to go after this. Like, who freaking knows?
Yeah.
So let's make our own game.
Yeah.
This is why I fly around and touch planets, because it's like a game. It's like a game. Like, why not?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Right.
Like, we get to create whatever we want.
Yeah. No, and I think
it should be fun, you know?
It should be fun. I think that's really powerful because it's like, when you have your vision, it's also looking at all the different dimensions of your life. And I think that's something I respect about you as well, from what I can see and from the outside, is, you know, it doesn't feel like you are, and obviously, you know, we all have areas we feel like we can improve, that goes without saying, but it doesn't feel like there's like you are taking care of your health massively. You've got an amazing business, you know, your relationships are really nurtured. You have a great relationship with your girlfriend, you know, so I think that's really powerful as well to see. And then kind of coming back to that, what you mentioned around being the jock and that kind of the projective, you know, villain in the masculinity story for some women. But I think it's actually a really powerful example of not having to have this and then not have that. Like, you don't have to be super in touch with your emotions and sacrifice being amazing at business and having a great, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I think that's really awesome.
Yeah.
That we can be in mastery of all areas of our life.
Absolutely. At
the same time. I have a question as well, because something that I find interesting is even the word vulnerability, right? Because I think if we were, and I'd be interested in your conversation, but if we were truly grounded and accepting, right? If everything about us, everything, those dark little things that we had inside us, if we were truly in acceptance of that, do you actually think that there would be anything to feel vulnerable about? So sometimes I think about that, because it's like vulnerability essentially is like being scared of sharing an aspect of ourselves, right? Like putting ourselves in a vulnerable spot, or you know, emotionally, which usually means we're kind of afraid of an aspect of ourselves.
Yeah, I think it's going to be constantly being aware of the ego and letting it go.
Yeah.
Because when we have a big dream and we take on something that's risky or challenging, and if we aren't able to see that failure is the key to achievement, then we're going to feel like a failure every time something doesn't go right, or we don't make it happen. So we're going to feel like, oh, I let people down, or people were sad about something, or I made a fool of myself. So if we are afraid of our ego getting hurt, then we're always going to be vulnerable. And susceptible to that feeling of pain or insecurity or guilt or shame or not good enough. But when we can be aware of it constantly and practice, like, okay, this is a necessary step and I must fail. And people are going to have opinions and be okay with it, which is just challenging to do with the stresses and the conversations of society. It's just challenging to do. So it's being aware every single day. You know, I still get defensive. Like a few weeks ago, these women were like attacking me, or I felt like they were attacking me. And so I was like, you guys don't know me, you know, I was trying to like defend myself. I'm like, why am I defending myself? So I had to like take a step back and go, gosh, I usually don't do this. Why do I feel like I need to respond with proving myself to them? It's, you know, it's a constant battle.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. And I think it's being curious too, right? Like curious, okay, why is that showing up? Or what is the situation or the context that just showed up? So it's like a little flashlight, right? Like, okay, there's something there that I can look at.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you feel like this conversation has like the vulnerability piece and the work that you've done around being open and the journey you've been on through the researching of this book, do you think this has impacted your, like, shown up for you positively in your business? Do you think this is something that allows you to apply this to grow in other areas of your life?
I think my business has grown tremendously because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, tremendously.
Why do you think that is?
Because when I'm able to understand and connect with humans on a different level, when I'm able to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not perfect all the time.
Of course.
When I'm able to understand my team better
Yeah.
and connect to them, and it helps get better results.
Yeah.
I'm able to be clearer and focused and take risks without being scared or worried about the backlash.
Yeah.
Like this book, like I'm glad I'm feeling defensive.
Yeah.
And like scared a little bit, because if I was just talking about the safe stuff that I always talk about that I feel comfortable with, I'm not going to grow.
Yeah.
So it's like I almost am like, all right, get ready for the attacks.
Yeah.
And how am I going to handle
the
this?
hatches.
Yeah, because this is going to help me be able to take on something even bigger in 2 years.
Yeah.
Where I've gained mental grace, strength and grace through adversity. If I want to actually see what I'm capable of doing with the tools available, with this body, the mind, in the world for my life, then I must be able to take on extreme challenges. I look at Obama, and half the world was against him, half was for him, or whatever. The amount of stress at the level of responsibility at someone at that level is unbelievable. The amount of weight, attacks, so much that comes to someone's that was way.
Yeah.
But the amount of impact someone's able to make is unbelievable as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, what can I continue to push the boundaries on to see what I'm capable of doing? I just don't ever want to feel regret that I didn't give enough or try enough or use what I was given to the maximum of my abilities.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly trying to say, okay, well, this is something that scares me. Okay, it must mean I know how to do it then. That's what I think about.
I love that, and because we're going to wrap up here in a second with a couple of quick questions, but I love what you said just then around failure being the way, right? Like you have to, because that's like one of the biggest human fears is like, I can't try this because what if I fail?
I mean, could you walk right away when you're 6 months old?
I know, but we need to continue to hear people say this because it's like...
You hit your head over and over and over again until you were like, oh, I'm going to just stabilize myself.
Yeah.
And then when you started to run, you hit it over and over again. It's like failure is the only way to succeed.
Yeah.
Period.
I love it. I love it.
So you must say, how can I fail over and over again until I learn the lesson and the tools, the information, or master the skill so that I don't continue to repeat it.
Yeah.
And then what's the next thing?
Yeah.
The next thing.
Bottom of the rank of the ladder again. Yeah. Okay, cool. So what is your ultimate hope for this book?
That it's a catalyst of healing for men and women and all human beings.
Amazing.
Because I just feel like, again, I love Oprah and Brene Brown and Deepak and all these leaders talking about being open and loving and vulnerable.
Yeah.
But a lot of the guys that look like me or grew up like me
will
never listen to them.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm the answer or the
No,
solution,
I know what you're saying.
but I'm just hoping that they'll be able to see, like, oh, here's a guy who had some financial success and sports success, and maybe I'll just take a look and glance.
Yeah.
Hopefully, like, there's something on the book that they can consume and be like, oh, you know what? That doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Gosh, I've been a jerk in this situation in my life, and that's why I always feel like this disgusting feeling in my stomach. Maybe I'll go apologize and just kind of own my moment.
Yeah.
And just start there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like getting people moving a couple steps forward in a positive way so they can heal their inner world, which I believe will heal the outer world.
Yeah. I love that. And I mean, that's why I'm sitting here with you, because I do think that you are that really great representation of, something more relatable for the mainstream, essentially.
Here's the thing. I think it's going to be a more powerful book for women because...
Another reason why I'm sitting here, because I think so.
I mean, just being in LA and hearing every other woman say there's no good men in the world.
Yeah.
Like, it's no good men to date, like they're all flakes, or just whatever conversation women have.
Yeah.
like, have you looked within and tried to understand the men that you're seeing and seeing the masks they're wearing so you can fully understand them? So this book is for women to be able to fully recognize the masks that the men they're hanging out with are wearing and know how to fully handle it without making them wrong, but to get them to take it off in a loving way. And when women can understand this concept, you have unbelievable power.
Yeah.
And you can create any relationship you want with the men you're trying to connect with.
Yeah.
Fathers, your brothers, your sons. Like if you want to raise a great son, this is going to give you so many more tools as a woman, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I love it. I mean, I'm all about it. So what does greatness mean to you? Because obviously you asked this question of so many amazing people that you sit across from. So what does it mean to you?
It's discovering the unique gifts and talents that only you were born with and maximizing them in the pursuit of your dreams. And in that pursuit, making the maximum impact possible you can with people around you.
Amazing. So where will Lewis Howes be in 5 years from now? What's the ultimate vision for Lewis Howes? Not that 5 years is ultimate, but where do you see?
You know, I want to, you know, my big vision right now is to impact 100 million people every week.
Every week.
Every week.
There it is.
By being a curator and facilitator
Yeah.
of ideas, information, and stories to give people those tools to help them live a better life.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
That's it?
Yeah. That's what I want.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, like I said, there's so many segues that I would love to dive down with you. I might have to do part 2 another time, the business edition. But thank you so much for being here with me, with the community, and for doing the awesome work that you are doing in the world for all of us, men and women. And I'm really excited to share this book with the world. So if you guys want to get more around Lewis Howes, which of course you do, where's the best place for us to find everything about you and the book?
Just lewishowes.com and then Lewis Howes on social media and Mask of Masculinity.com for the book.
Amazing. Okay, cool. Well, thanks for being with us, guys, and we will see you super soon. This is Emily Gallagher from Conscious Boss. Over and out.